calling Leandro Lo in a tribute to the great champion who passed away last night.
Lovato chegou chegando.
Now, we've talked
Quem
a
que
lot
está
about
gritando pra
Meregali's
ele?
developing no-gi skills. His first match against Arnaldo Maidana of Checkmat, the black belt world champion, Meregali wrestled with him for almost 13-14 minutes.
O Lovato com 40 anos melhor fisicamente que o...
Weeks ago in the Who's Next finale, saw him display pretty much a carbon copy of Gordon Ryan's Mount game. It was a clinic in top pressure. The real question is what game plan he has for an opponent as experienced and as well-rounded as Mr. Rafael Lovato Jr.
Well, he said he wanted to wrestle, and good thing we have a great wrestling analyst on our hands.
Esse
With
treino
Kendall
no
Reeves
na
joining us
academia
in
de
the
vocês,
booth.
pá?
What do you expect from this battle on the feet here, Kendall?
Oh man, this is quite the person to try
Tá
to
na
wrestle.
Gracie Barra, hein?
Especially when you're talking about Nicholas Meregali's third match coming up, or third no-gi match. And it's also important to note that Lovato does a lot of wrestling in the universities in Oklahoma, right? So he's wrestling with these high-level college wrestlers consistently.
I heard they got some good wrestlers in Oklahoma.
Oh, just a little, yes, you know, they're all right. Yeah, so he's up there wrestling.
Sabe nem o nome da
and you
academia.
also, you gotta take into consideration, of course, Meregali, who he's training with very high-level people on the feet, like Gordon Ryan.
Luta livre.
I think that it's a very smart strategy for Meregali to try to take Lovato down.
Mas
As
o
we know, nobody
professor pôs
in a
nome.
match with this kind of rule set wants to be under the pressure of Lovato.
That's what I'm kind of thinking here, is that we haven't seen anything of Nicholas Meregali's guard in his no-gi matches so far.
Exactly one sweep. One sweep.
There you go.
That was it.
One sweep, but it was a fleeting moment. But,
Yes.
but if there is a person to play bottom under, it is definitely not Rafael Lovato Jr. because his top game, very heavy. We know all about his kind of passing style system. He's so good at passing from what he calls like the headquarters position. But of course, in conversation with his teammates, Victor Hugo, also an ADCC competitor, IBJ black belt
Big
world
body lock
champion.
here. Yeah,
Meregali
Mas
aggressively
ele
going
tem
for
que
the type. He said
manter
you
o
do not
quadril
want to
longe.
be under Lovato because he's also got that MMA pressure from top, and that's something considerable. We see Meregali hit the takedown.
That is really
mata
impressive.
top.
I honestly did not expect Meregali to take down someone like Lovato. Given the experience, we know for a fact that
É uma ultimata.
practiced zero wrestling throughout his career.
Calma,
so we
pá.
have just mere weeks on his hand.
Na guarda
Lovato's been
fechada.
doing it for decades. So that really says something about the progress Meregali's been making here.
Yeah, that is a strong statement. I feel that even getting into a solid tie-up
Vai
position
rolar
like that
agora.
with Lovato, more so, putting him down with that kind of attack is a real sign of the evolution of Meregali's game. And now we'll see this amazing passing game that he has from the top. His footwork, his passing. Can he get
Footwork.
past those long legs of Rafael Lovato Jr. is the question.
I will say what's interesting too is that Lovato was initiating the tie-ups. He was going in for really
Deu uma
nice
passada
underhooks.
de
He
por
was doing a
baixo
really great
bonita,
job
né?
controlling the space, and Meregali was actually looking like he was on a bit of a back foot until he came in for that double underhook.
Uh-oh, look at this. Look at this, single leg X here from Rafael Lovato Jr. Great position from which to launch a variety of attacks.
Lovato looking to expose a heel here, but Meregali looking to counter
Step
that
over,
rolling
yeah.
back kick maybe.
Dá pra sair de
Stays on
X
top.
aí.
But
Sai
Lovato
de
still
X,
has an
Lovato.
active half guard, stroke X guard here, and there is the footwork. Meregali was looking to try and use a kind of under overpass.
Deixar o alemão colar a barriga e já era.
And he's putting the pressure on Lovato's guard here.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Lovato's top game, but we can't forget he has such an excellent X guard, butterfly guard, really classic positions. But here we see an almost pass from Meregali coming chest to chest here.
He got it. He's got that leg free. He settled down, and this is a really good side control position here. He doesn't quite have Lovato flat on his back. Lovato is, he's got his
Deu mão
hip
com mão
up
ali,
and he's
fudeu.
got his
Aí
elbows pretty close to
deu
his
agora.
body. But the simple fact of getting there less than 4 minutes into this match. Whew.
This is a statement from Meregali. I mean, there's a lot of time left for Lovato to turn things around, but I think a lot of people who know just exactly who Lovato is would not have guessed this was going to be the opening 5 minutes looking like.
Hunting for the back is Meregali. Lovato manages to
recovery.
escape the hips.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have expected to see it pass so early, but I've seen multiple matches. We've all seen multiple matches where Lovato has come back from those kinds of deficits in the beginning and then continue to smash. But again, right into a nice pass is Nicholas Meregali. Big cross face, and he cuts right through.
Second time settling down into the side control now, and this is less than 5 minutes into this match, and Meregali is he's taking it up a gear here.
Yeah, the tempo is one-sided. You know, after the opening, feeling out process on the feet, Meregali is simply taken over here. Pretty incredible stuff to see.
Meregali driving forward, putting the pressure on. You can see that shoulder in the jaw. He's making Lovato turn away from him. Possibly an attempt to open up the back. We will get our judge's favor, and I think it's probably clear who it should be. Yeah, no surprise there. Lovato is doing his best to try and recover a half guard here. I like the way that Meregali is hiding his right foot.
Yeah, Meregali
places the knee back in the hip.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Howell. He does a great job of continuing to bring that right knee to the hip. Every time Lovato almost has a knee, a shin, or a foot inside for half butterfly, his knee is right back in that hip spot, which is an interesting thing from someone who is a gi guy coming to no gi. Sometimes that side control retention is a really difficult transition for people.
So far, not missing a beat as Nicholas Meregali switches to knee on belly, switches sides now. And just keeping that passing pressure here. Lovato looking a little bit unsure of his positioning now. Now getting into a better guard here, maybe thinking about throwing in a reap.
Yeah, this is again reminiscent of that single leg X position that he used earlier, but I think that the way that Meregali had the awareness and which way to step out of it and backstep into a solid position. And there it is again. Meregali is able to turn out of it, and he's on the neck now.
Almost came up for a single leg X sweep there, but didn't get the sweep, but forced a front headlock position, which brought them back to the feet, which may be a better position for Lovato. Yeah, exactly.
Here you go, Here you go.
So now, if Lovato was on the wrong end of that takedown earlier, Kendall, how do you feel he's going to approach the wrestling this time around?
You know, I think that he's going to be a little more insistent, actually, on maintaining an underhook. I would say, like, Lovato is not really someone who gets nervous and backs out. He kind of decides, okay, this is what's working, this is what didn't, and then he goes in for more, right? In my experience watching him. So I think he's going to kind of try to reset these underhooks, these over ties he has with his left hand here. But he has to be careful because Nicholas' timing with swimming double underhooks is obviously proven to be very, very well done.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm so intrigued to see this rapid development of Nicholas Meregali, to go from zero no-gi experience. I'm talking February this year. Zero no-gi experience. He moves to Austin, Texas, takes a residence in one of the fastest growing jiu-jitsu cities in the world to train with Gordon Ryan and John Danaher. And the results that we're seeing here, I mean, it looks like a completely different athlete.
John Danaher.
With a multiple-time world champion,
King tá ali, você viu o King lá, pá?
I'm stunned, I'll be honest, because
E o
if
Passa
I thought there was a
dormiu.
game plan that Meregali would use to beat Lovato, he wouldn't go in head-to-head and beat him at his own game.
Yeah, it's interesting here. What Lovato has continued to do is he brings that left hand over the top and uses the outside of his hand where his pinky is to kind of punch in the throat as an overtie. And so now he has the inside position. And I like how Meregali's using these foot sweeps to kind of off-balance Lovato. I don't think he's looking necessarily for straight to the takedown, but potentially what we could see is another body lock here with that double under.
Same takedown, exactly the same takedown that he used earlier in the match. Nicholas Meregali once again puts down Rafael Lovato Jr. and is in a great position to start passing the guard once again.
I think if there is any questions, Nicholas Meregali's no-gi career is certainly for real, and the potential is limitless.
There were many question marks over this match. There were question marks about how Meregali would cope with somebody with Lovato's experience. There were question marks over the strategy that each athlete would use against their opponent, because so uncertain of how that would go. How would Lovato deal with Meregali, who just was something of a mystery? And how would Meregali go against the veteran? Well, the answers are right here. And we're seeing Meregali go forward, take down his opponent, put the pressure on from top, and put Lovato into some really bad positions.
And yet another strong recovery here from Lovato. It's just like, as soon as you think Nicholas is going to be side control or mount, you know, we see another big extension from Lovato here.
And I think that's the experience coming through, right? The composure in these positions that others may be very uncomfortable. Lovato Jr. has spent decades in those positions, and he knows exactly the right moment to escape.
I don't think Lovato spent a lot of time here, though, in his career. I mean, look at Meregali just putting the pressure on him. This is kind of a pressure passing clinic, let's say. It's something that Lovato would like to be doing himself in this match.
It's very reminiscent of Lovato style.
The
Yeah.
passing position is Gordon Ryan 101, the float passing system.
Oh,
something that
Meregali tá
Lovato
fazendo
uses
jogo do
himself.
gordo.
You can see the foot hook, the shin on shin. He's looking to step over that top knee and go directly into the mount. And I think that he may almost be there. He seems to have what looks like a kind of a three-quarter mount. Hard to see if his left knee is on the mat. But this looks familiar, Chase.
Yeah, I think we spent some time here last match, Al, if I remember correctly. Nicholas Meregali looking to isolate the choke here, head and arm choke. No surprise, by the way, to see the judges' favor continuing to be for Nicholas Meregali.
He's in the mount now. He's got the leg free, and I think may even go to the back. It's hard to see. Lovato is kind of on his side, not really mount, not really back, kind of a side.
Well, that is the nice thing about this position. When you have the head and arm, if your partner rotates, it turns into a seatbelt grip, right? So you can use the head and arm connection to either go to the mount, just like we're seeing, switch back into knee on stomach control.
He's going for the arm triangle. He's going for the katakatami now. This is getting tighter, and Lovato has to go belly down to defend it.
And then if loses the arm triangle, opens up the back of the mount again, right? So that head and arm control is really, really a game changer here.
That half
Essa daí que eu fiz, eu introduzi no meu jogo.
Has got
É lá
possibility to
mesmo.
try and put Lovato back on the mat, but aggressive hand fighting here. Lovato is in full-on survival mode in this position.
Start to recover from mount, yes. Elbow down and start to recover from
But that's
mount.
key. I mean, I remember reading the Six Blades philosophy many years ago in Stylo Ribeiro's books. Jiu-Jitsu University, of course, you know, Lovato's had a lot of experience training with Saulo and Shanji Ribeiro in his career, and two great mentors and teachers of his. And one of the greatest tenets in their school and their system is, of course, you know, the ability to survive, to escape, and to counterattack. And Lovato, right now, is surviving. Meregali.
Yeah, Lovato does a good job of not letting his arms get too separated from his head, right? We see him keep his elbows in tight. So even when there is this wrist control, and now, even though his elbows were tight, we do see some back exposure here, but not quite into the back. And is able to kind of save himself from going to that back position. Still has a quarter guard, right? Or wearing, you know, quarter guard, quarter mount, so able to stay a little bit safe here. But I think we're going to see Meregali go back to this head and arm control if he can, because again, opens up the mount, opens up the pass, and opens up the arm triangle and the seatbelt grip, right? Once you can isolate that, you can really, really control your partner wherever they go, kind of back them into a corner and make them choose something that no matter where they go, it's going to end up in your favor, just like we're seeing here.
Meregali looks to be committing to the choke again.
See the pressure on Lovato's face here. That arm triangle choke is getting somewhat tighter. If he can pass his left knee that is currently trapped over into the mount or off to the side like this now, this could be it. But Lovato Jr. manages to turn, exposes the back, but at least the arm triangle is no longer on.
They are on the edge of the mat too, so they're going to have to be careful here with the reset. We're going to see a reset back to the center of the mat with the same position.
That was perfectly timed reset by our referee, Gabriel Martins. Right on the edge of the mats, outside the safety area.
Nicholas Meregali kind of touching his own wrist rather gingerly there. May have put a little too much pressure on it as he was hunting for the choke, but I think he'll be able to push through. Lovato has
Voltar lá, você viu?
see if he can make something happen.
Tá sentado no meio lá.
É o dono.
As they kind of return to the same position they were in.
Passar água na cara ali, mano. Tá doido? Tô dormindo.
The referee will give Lovato Jr. the opportunity to get his grips to defend.
O cara
There is
da
still
vida
over 2 minutes
noturna.
remaining in this match, so there's plenty of time for Meregali to work from here.
Tem nada. Dou conta de manhã. Ficar acordado até tarde, não. Do coruja.
Going high. He's managed to trap
Tá
one
vendo que eles
arm.
aprendem tudinho?
This really compromises Lovato's defenses here. Arm is going around the neck. Lovato gets it back in, and those long legs of Meregali so useful for the body triangle.
Even hand fight. For him, it's comfortable there. I need one shot to recover. You go, try to put your back.
Oh, there it is again.
Fecha lá.
Meregali has
You go, shoot.
trapped one of the arms with his foot.
Eita, toda hora.
Aggressively searching to get that hand underneath the chin.
Você viu isso, pá?
You know, let's not just forget
Hey,
the fact that in two matches, in no
É.
way.
É,
Because
o mole.
Meregali has a 100% submission rate.
Passa.
Yeah, and he's looking to keep that tonight. Aggressively hunting the rear naked choke here, making things a
E o
little
zap
nasty
dele
and tough.
tocou.
Sometimes you got to do that. Let's not forget that the New Wave team and John Danaher have really also systematized hand fighting. It's a priority for their team. Is when you secure this position, you don't want to do it again, right? You want to get the finish. So he's got 1 minute
Ele
left.
tá
Lovato
vendo
doing
lá
a
melhor.
good job of remaining as safe as possible here. Let's see if
Eu
Meregali
faço
can pull
muito
off.
essa pegada aí,
This is that
parça.
power half again, right out of Gordon Ryan's playbook.
Opa.
Turnover.
Pegou.
And he's still working on that neck, and I think that as we're in this
Vai finalizar não,
last
Lovato.
40 seconds or so of the match,
Sai no
it'll be
braço.
difficult for Meregali to find that finish, but not
O
impossible.
Meregali tá
Just
bem
time to work.
ofensivo, né? Tá bom.
Tá, gostei.
You go, hip skip, frame and shoot. Yes, put your frame to work.
Pressure from Meregali now in this half guard position. He's going to get one last pass in the last 10 seconds of the match.
O velho,
Really, that
o
momentum
Lovato.
just completely in his favor.
That's good, my friend. Good job.
And Meregali actually relieves the pressure as the clock runs down. What an incredible performance. That really was a masterclass in no-gi technique from Nicholas Meregali against one of the very best to do it. A clash of generations, yes.
Desde que eu conheço o Lovato, eu
Just
acho que
a
ele tá
real
nessa.
showcase of jiu-jitsu skill and technique.
Yeah, I'm a little bit in awe of what we just witnessed here. We knew Meregali's potential was limitless, achieved so many things in the gi, but it looks like that's going to be the same story here in the other discipline.
A Ribeiro.
Let's look at some of the best moments from this matchup here. Meregali entered with a lot of confidence.
I loved the fact that Lovato paid tribute to Leandro Lo at the very beginning of the match. But as we see here, the takedown from
Melhor
Meregali was the
homenagem
same
foi
takedown used
do
twice.
Foi.
Was able to defend all of the leg entanglements. Was actually using them well to counter-attack as well. I thought that was notable.
Yeah, and the fact that Lovato was able to get back to the feet, get back to the positions where we thought he may have some advantage, and Meregali to do the same thing twice, astounding, right? And then we see the rest of the match played out from there with Meregali working from top. That's a tough one for Lovato here.
Chama de ali.
We're going to bring the athletes back into the center so we can have our official announcement. I think it is a formality. I think it's very, very clear. But as we see a nice show of respect there from Rafael Lovato Jr. and Nicholas Meregali.
And we have a unanimous decision. Our judges have tallied your winner from New Wave, Nicholas
New Wave?
Meregali.
Como assim, New Wave?
A perfect 3-0 record here at Who's Number One is Nicholas Meregali. A
Gordon.
fine display of jiu-jitsu technique
nova.
indeed. Very impressive. Just continues to go from strength to strength. Well, let's pass it over to Kendall Rusing because Nicholas Meregali seems fired up. He may have something to say.
Okay, Nicholas Meregali, congratulations. What a dominant performance. Really excited to see you here tonight. And when you were here last, it was your second no-gi match. This is your third. We talked about what your match last time meant going into ADCC. And that was